Welcome everyone back to Mr. Weather Update, and today's video we're going to look at the live radar, look at the UKV, average temperatures for the next 5 days, and the temperatures as well. We'll look at the GFS, ECM, and the UKV one, and some balls for the next 1 weeks. So I'm also going to look at the 5-day precipitation and temperatures from the UKV as well, and I'll have that for you in a minute. And I'll deliver that for you now. Thank you very much. Also, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please follow my Facebook. I've obviously got a few events on there at the moment, and I've also got my YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe to it so I can keep uploading these videos. Otherwise, obviously, I won't really have too much enthusiasm, let's say, because I do need to make a little bit more views and not just talk to myself all the time in these forecasts. So, if we do have a look at the live radar, you can see there is at the eastern Scotland, there is actually a bit of drizzly out, well, some patchy drizzle basically. Nothing much really, nothing substantial at all, really. That's all that really is for precipitation though. Otherwise, widely dry in the rest of the UK and Wales. Nothing to do with precipitation at the moment. If you do have a look at the UKV though, having a look at the temperatures, the precipitation for the next 5 days, we'll see if there's any more precipitation to come. Now, unfortunately, oops, not that one, there we go. Not much rain out, like I said, today. A bit of cloud though, lots of cloud actually. A bit overcast at times, with some sunny intervals. Sometimes that could be thick enough to bring in a few showers in the evening. Tomorrow is very similar, if not a little bit more precipitation around. Could see some showers in the morning, some light showers, if the cloud's thick enough, of course. Cloud will gradually start to weaken and break away. We've still got some showers and some patchy drizzle around in northwestern Scotland, so that's the Highlands. Otherwise, the rest of areas are staying dry, but there's like the first sign of something becoming more remotely unsettled. On to the rest of Friday. It's a nice day, very clear, a bit of a high-level cloud around. But as we go into Saturday, we can see there's a band of rain. Unfortunately, it's a weaker affair, really. But that will supply some rainfall, some patchy rainfall in Northern England, Scotland, and even bits of Southern England. Hopefully, that will give me some more. There will be some more coming. There could also be some heavy, perhaps even thundery showers, likely on Sunday in the Midlands and the South as that moves up north. So, you can see some heavy pulses possible there. Hopefully that will, I don't think it will, but it should ease on the draw a little bit. But unfortunately, I don't think there'll be too much rain to come, really. So I don't expect that much unsettled weather, if you know what I mean. I say the highest precipitation totals, once again, will be in the northwest of Scotland, where we're going to see the highest rainfall. The lowest in the southeast. We could still see a little bit of rainfall, but unfortunately not too much, though. So we'll have to see what happens there. Maybe we'll update later. If you do have a look at temperatures for today, obviously it's not updated yet. It has updated. We'll see how accurate this is. Obviously it's supposed to get to 28 degrees today. And if I have a look at the net weather radar on the live temperatures, it's 27 degrees from extern alpha. So we're not getting quite close to there. So quite accurate there from the UKV model one there. That's quite good for them. So yeah, that's basically today. And going into Wednesday night into Thursday, with quite a slow day in terms of temperatures. You can see here, maybe a bit touch hot in the southwest. And you can see, obviously, northwest of Scotland is the coolest because that's where we get more unsettled weather to come, most likely as that approaches from the Atlantic. So we can see in western Scotland we'll be probably seeing the mid-teens. Eastern Scotland, a bit of a contrast actually, we're in the low 20s. We could get as high as 23 Celsius in eastern Scotland, the eastern portion of Scotland there. Northern England, we're in the high teens, low 20s. We could see highs of 23 or 24 Celsius. And then the rest of areas, maybe even high 20s, 27, 28, 29 Celsius is likely. So a couple of hot spells possible there. Friday would probably be the hottest day of the week. You can see here widely now, we're getting to more heatwave thresholds basically, but this is not a heatwave actually, just to let you know. But still going to be quite hot for some people. So you can see northwest Scotland are the most likely to stay the coolest. We're in the mid-teens, so very cool there. Still in the eastern portion of Scotland, it's still going to be the warmest, but less warm, really, as we get more of an Atlantic sort of regime coming on from there as well. So that's basically it. So we can see 21 Celsius as the highest in Scotland. Northern England, again, western areas are the coolest. We're going to see high teens, low 20s. Otherwise, eastern areas, I'm going to hold on to that warmth a bit longer, 23 to 24 Celsius, likely northeastern England. Otherwise, we are in the rest of areas of central and southern areas. We're in the mid to high 20s, maybe even low 30s. So we can see 28, 29, and once again, we can see an isolated 30 degrees is not out of the question, really. So we'll have to see what happens there. Now on to Friday. It's still a bit quite hot actually in the southeast. Hence, because this has been right before that weather front moves to the south, so we've still got that warm and kind of clashing with the cooler Atlantic air. So a bit of a breakdown there. Northwestern air is very cool for the time of year. We're in the teens. I could still see 20 Celsius though in eastern Scotland. In northern England, we can still see where it depends where the weather front is and how fast it moves this time. So we'll have to just be a bit sceptical how high or low the temperatures actually get. So we'll have to see. But otherwise, we can see high teens, low 20s. Rest of areas, so the south, are going to hold on to that heat a little bit longer. Highs of 29, possibly 30. If that weather front stays at the shores. The northern England for just long enough before we can get that heat to build even further. So we'll have to see what happens there, really. But I think it's going to arrive as we get through the day. So back into average temperatures as that moves. So you can see for Sunday, we know a little bit below average in the north and average in the south. So you can see here low to mid-teens in the northern Scotland with highs of 20 Celsius likely as the highest. In Aberdeenshire, maybe even 21 Celsius still possible. Still quite warm there. Northern England, quite cooler than average really. High teens, low 20s. The highest we're going to see is 21 Celsius. And then we can see here, rest of areas, we're in the low to mid-20s. The highest we'll see is 25 degrees. So around average there, but a bit below in the north. So a bit of a contrast going on there as that cooler air moves in. Looking at the GFS models, this is the 6Z weather forecast. So let's have a look at this. I'll look at the 0Z first. We can see here we've got the Azores high to the west of us, blocking any sort of Atlantic coming in, bringing a northwesterly airflow, bringing some moisture from the Atlantic. Hence why it's been so cloudy today. As we go throughout the week, that does weaken, get more of a showery, more unsettled theme. It's got some transient winds forming, but could still be quite unsettled in the northwest. However, the GFS, this is the 0Z, isn't really keeping that low pressure really in the south. So still be quite dry in the south, but still going to be quite changeable, likely for the UK. However, we have got quite an intense amount of heat that is to the east of us, and that's supposed to push in. That will give the 25, 24 degree isotherm if that had to happen. Look at the thickness of the colours. I mean, what that? Whoa. Now, obviously, this is more like a southeasterly wind, or easterly. Obviously, I think this is very unlikely to play out. We've got the Atlantic there. That will push it away most likely, if that had to happen. Because you can see here, the Atlantic is very active, very energetic at the moment. So it's more likely that that will play out really, but very unlikely this will verify because look at the temperatures. Once again, very unlikely to verify because look at the temperatures that it's forecasting: 39 to 40 Celsius in the east. I mean, it's very unlikely because you can see here we're in the mid 40s in continental Europe. So if this is very, very unlikely to play out because we've got cooler Atlantic airs that come here. So that would probably, if this had to verify, this will push it out. So very likely this will play out, but if it does, it'll be exceptionally hot if that did play out. Because you can see here where the thickness is, which is obviously 10%. Again, we are touching into 25 degree isotherm, which is very rare to see. 26, 29, whoa, 1 minute. This is not going to happen. The 29 degree isotherm, I don't think we've ever seen a 29-degree isotherm. I mean, if that had to happen, that would be like the low 40s. So they've, you know what? I don't know what the point is of looking at this model one. You know, in GFS CLZ, I don't think this is going to happen. The most likely theme is going to stay a bit more changeable. From the Atlantic, that's going to push it. We could see some transition ridges that possible, but I don't think this is going to happen. Very unlikely. And that's one model one. We can't just use one model one. We need to use two, or well, most of them. So obviously, and this is the chart. So this is based on 51 models of the GFS or something. So obviously, this is not going to play out. Okay, so this is the 6Z. Hopefully, this is not as intense as the 0Z. But you can see here, we've got the Atlantic there. That's going to break. Sorry, we've got the Azores High there. That's going to break down. Going to put more of an unsettled, changeable theme for the weekend, perhaps even next week as well, with transient ridges forming as well. So still fighting back against these low pressures, because he's very unsettled actually into start of August, and that carries on to the rest of August, being a much more of a changeable outlook. So for that, so could be could be about an average and unsettled. Still got some low pressures at bay that could move in with some high pressure ridges. There's a few ridges forming though, so it's not all unsettled at all though. So 12Z1, again, we've got that high pressure breaking down from the Atlantic. This breaking down the Atlantic at the end of the week and into the weekend, with a transient low pressure systems bringing in showers, long spells of rain from the northwest, with cooler Atlantic air as well. And especially into the 1st of August, we've got some unsettled weather, some very cool weather actually that could happen if that had happened. So it could be very changeable, very cool, and very unsettled. Well, mostly unsettled anyway. It could be a bit windy at times as well if this had to play out. Again, it's the GFS, it is ages away, so we'll have to wait and see. Again, we've still got the Azores High there, so that could easily just push them out of the way, but we'll have to see. A little bit different there with the 18Z, but otherwise, again, as it's saying, Azores High weakens. Then we've got a northwesterly regime, so a bit of a showery theme going on with long spells of rain, bringing in some transient ridges as well from the southwest, with some low pressure systems as well. So staying a bit changeable at times as well. So again, it's going to bring some ridges in from the south at times on the Azores. So again, this one is also suggesting some more settled periods. Still saying it's going to give some heat, but nowhere near as extreme as what the other one was saying. But still would give a bit of a heatwave thresholds if that had to play out, of course. But, it is a long way away, and it's, we'll have to just wait and see. If we do a look at the ECM DVF for the next couple of days, you can see the high pressure for the Azores will weaken throughout the week. Again, that's the northwesterly regime. It's there. As we get into Saturday, once again we get showery with some longer spells of rain in the weekend as well. Again, some more transient ridges are forming as we go, but still low pressure will be pushing in as to the best of its ability, really. From the Atlantic as well, so low pressure to the north, we've got high pressure to the south, so it could be quite fairly unsettled, a bit changeable at times. Is the most likely outcome rather than a very intense hot spell. However, it could still be quite a bit warmer than average, really. Still could be hot spells, hence of the low pressure systems. So still touching around 17 degrees isotherm, which would be touching 30 Celsius. So still be quite hot, actually. Hence of the, all of what's going on with the Atlantic. Finally, UK Mayon again breaks down the ridge at the Atlantic, which is the Azores High. Then we get the more of an unsettled Atlantic sort of regime from the northwest. Could supply cooler, more unsettled weather at times, with ridge forming there, with some showers and spells of rain. With transient ridges forming, bringing some hot spells, bringing perhaps 30 Celsius if these had to play out. No extreme heat. Once again, if you look at the temperature at very similar to the ECM, 15, 16, 17 degree isotherm, with a mini hot spell going on there. No heat wave. It's just going to be random 30-degree days, most likely. So I'll have to see what happens there. So staying very changeable, in my opinion, based on the ECM, really. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.